That is, to me, what cameras like this are designed for. This is the Sony ZV1, a brilliant little compact camera that in some situations is almost perfect. But what is so good about the Sony ZV1, and is it still worth buying in 2022? That's what we're going to have a look at in this video. Let's get into it. Now very quickly, just before we go any further, if you are new here to this channel, my name is Scott Edwards. I make all sorts of videography tutorials and tech related videos. So if they are the sorts of things you are interested in, consider clicking that little subscribe button that's just down below there and come and be a part of this community. So the Sony ZV1 as a compact camera is very small in size, hence the name compact camera. But what that means as well is you don't have to worry about carrying around different lenses with you because the lens is built directly into the camera. So the lens that is in the camera is the equivalent of a 24 to 70 millimeters, and that does mean that it's not really the widest at 24 millimeters. So when you are using it to vlog with, you do have to hold it quite far away to be able to get a good field of view because it isn't really that wide. However, to have the full range of 24 to 70 millimeters in a little compact camera like this is absolutely brilliant. The aperture in this as well is 1.8 to 2.8. So what that means is it's 1.8 at its widest and 2.8 when you get all the way into 70 millimeters. But what that means is you're still able to let in a lot of light into this lens and get a really nice depth of field with it as well. The camera turns on as soon as you open the screen, which means it's there ready to go and click record. As soon as you've got it out of your pocket and you've opened the screen, you can record whatever you want to. And as well, when you close the screen, it turns off itself as well. So the ease of use with this is absolutely incredible. I've just opened it, I didn't mean to. But it's so quick and easy to use. There's no worrying about setting things up, and that is where something like this comes in absolutely perfectly. Now the Sony ZV1 has a little bit of a better microphone built into it than most cameras do, and that means that the audio that you get from this without using a microphone is actually quite usable. Now I'm not saying that this is the best audio ever, because it's absolutely not. Obviously you're going to get better audio using a real microphone like this I'm using right now, or if you record your sound externally onto something else such as the Rodecaster Pro that I sometimes use. But if you're using this, the audio is very usable. And it also comes with this little fluffy windshield that sits over the top of the microphone. So the microphone sits on top of the camera here, and this just slides into the cold or hot shoe mount. I'll get them mixed up, one of the two, either the hot or cold shoe. It slides into there and covers up the microphone so that when you are outside, you don't get any wind noise interfering in the camera. So what I'll do is I'll give you a quick demonstration of the microphone on this camera. So this is the audio from the built-in microphone on the Sony ZV1. And just as a little comparison, I will now do the same with the iPhone 12 Pro. So this is the audio from the built-in microphone on the iPhone 12 Pro. Now as you can tell, the audio on the Sony ZV1 sounds a lot better than on the iPhone 12 Pro. You might be able to use the sound from either of them if you really wanted to. I do sometimes use the sound from the iPhone if I've used this to record clips, but as I'll talk about in a little bit, I try not to use my iPhone to record as much as I possibly can. A feature on the ZV1 that is a nice feature to have, but I've not really used it, is the Bokeh feature. Now if you're not sure what Bokeh is, it's that nice depth of field where you get the blurry background. So you can see here behind me, for example, that whole background is nice and blurry, and that is done by creating a nice depth of field. So I'm shooting in an aperture of f2.8 now, meaning a lot of light is being let into the camera and it can blur out the background naturally. With the Sony ZV1, with this button here that looks like a man and a mountain, you can do that automatically without having to worry about any of your settings. And this is really nice if, for example, you are new to photography or new to video creation and you're not not quite sure yet how a camera works, this button can really help you to achieve that nice depth of field without worrying about what you have to do to achieve that. So just as an example, I'm back filming on the Sony ZV1 again, and you can see that the background is fairly in focus. There's not really much depth of field separating me from the background. And if I now click this little defocus button, or the bokeh button as I like to call it, you can see that it is instantly gone nice and blurry without me having to worry about anything else. So what it has effectively done is change the aperture, the ISO and the shutter speed to adapt to that nice blurry background. And if I press it again, you can see the difference. It's now in focus again and nice and sharp. So that does just save a little bit of time, and it is a nice feature to use if that's something you are interested in. Now when it comes to this feature, as nice as it is, I probably would recommend learning how to achieve that look naturally without that using that feature, because it is going to sometimes crank your shutter speed to help get that nice depth of blur. And if you want a cinematic look to your videos, you're going to want to use the 180-degree rule, which this isn't really going to be using. The 180-degree rule is a shutter speed of double your frame rate, and that helps you to achieve a nice natural motion blur. So that is something you might not necessarily be able to use when you click the bokeh button, defocus button. I'm not sure what it's called. That's my personal thoughts. I think it's just a better way of doing it, learning how to achieve that look yourself. So a question you might ask is, why should you use something like the Sony ZV1 when you have an iPhone carried around in your pocket every single day with a camera on it that is capable of shooting 4K video? Now there's a couple of reasons that I have for using this over the iPhone, and the first reason we've already spoken about, and that is that the microphone sounds far better on the ZV1 than it does on the iPhone. Now the second reason is image quality. The main thing that this is designed to do is be a camera. It is designed to take a great looking image, the same as every other camera is. So the same as all of your mirrorless cameras that you use to record are designed to take a great image. Nearly dropped it then, that was close, wasn't it? The iPhone, as great as the cameras are, they're not the same. They're really not the same. And this is an iPhone. It's an entertainment and communications device, and almost a camera. Even though the cameras are incredible for what they are, the cameras aren't the same. And when you have an iPhone image, what you tend to find is because the cameras use a lot of algorithms to be able to develop the image, because the sensors are so small, it's called computational photography. The picture is incredibly over-sharpened, over-saturated, over-contrasty, and yes, you can adapt that slightly when you are editing, but it just doesn't look the same as the image that comes from a camera. Now that's not to say don't ever use the camera on an iPhone. I'm not saying that at all, because you can get some brilliant results from this, but being able to control your apertures, shutter speeds and ISOs in a camera is so much better? Good English. Is so much better than having a computer do everything for you, because you have so much more control over the image. Also, the ZV1, as we've already mentioned, has that flip out screen, which when you are vlogging is absolutely perfect, because you can see what you're doing. You can frame your image exactly as you want to. With the iPhone, if you want to use the best camera, which is the camera on the back, maybe you want to use the ultra wide to vlog with, you're gonna have to turn the phone that way round, which means you then can't see what you're recording. And also, chances are you're probably gonna be holding your phone like this. The microphone is here, which means your hand is blocking it, which again doesn't make sense. So you have to kind of hold it weirdly like that, which is very uncomfortable, and you can't see what you're doing. I might be over exaggerating a little bit. Maybe you could hold it like that, I guess, but then you run the risk of getting your hand in the shot here. To me, the iPhone is just not designed very well for vlogging and stuff like that, whereas something like this, it's so easy. It really is. And That's just my personal views. If you've got a camera available, whether it's your main camera or a little compact camera, use a camera over the iPhone. If you literally only have your iPhone with you, use the iPhone, you will get some great results. So how should you use your Sony ZV1? Well, obviously, because it is a camera, you have full control over everything. Apertures, ISOs, shutter speeds, white balance. You get all your different picture profiles. It even allows you to record in log. You can get S-Log2 and S-Log3 on this. I wouldn't necessarily recommend using them, but they are available if you really need them. The way I would recommend using this camera is something so you can document moments. Vlog those quick moments where you just want to grab something quickly because something is happening, or maybe you're out and about and you see something over in the distance and you want to try and capture it quickly. This is absolutely perfect for that, because you can then just undo the screen, turn it on, click record, and record whatever you want to. Now when it comes to that, what I would recommend doing is also sticking it in either aperture priority or shutter priority. Now I wouldn't recommend doing this usually because I like really nice cinematic looking footage, so I like to use the correct shutter speeds and ISOs for the situation I'm in and take time over creating a nice looking image. This camera I don't think is designed for that. This is literally designed for like the run and gun. I don't particularly like that term, but run and gun, as quick as you can, get the footage that you need and get it recorded. This allows you to do that, and by sticking it in shutter priority or aperture priority, it's gonna do 90% of the work for you. I'd also stick it in the standard picture profile because the colors do look pretty good in the standard picture profile, and then literally all you need to do is not worry about any settings at all because the camera is going to do most of the work for you. And that just allows you to go around documenting moments, creating memories, and that's what this camera is absolutely perfect for. Will it ever replace mirrorless cameras? No, because these cameras that we use now, the Sony a7C, the a7 III, a7 IV, the Canon R5, whichever camera you use, they do incredible things and they are not going anywhere anytime soon. But do you remember back in the 90s and early 2000s when your family would follow you around with them big camcorders, just creating them home movies, recording memories, so that when you get older, you have something to look back on of you growing up as a kid? That's what this is perfect for. That is, to me, what cameras like this are designed for, just creating them memories and things to look back on in the future. You're not gonna get really good cinematic looking footage from this, although you might be able to if you really tried, but that's not what it's designed for. That's what these cameras are for. This is just perfect for those smaller moments. I am actually thinking of making a video on camcorders and tape recorders as well, because for Christmas my dad actually got me one and gave me all the old tapes from when I was a kid growing up. So I think I'm going to get them digitized and just make some videos and have some fun with that camcorder, because I love all that sort of retro stuff. So if that's a video you would like to see using an old camcorder or an old tape recorder, let me know in the comments, because I'd be incredibly happy to make a video like that. So hopefully that helps you out if you are thinking of buying the little Sony ZV1 compact camera. I would highly recommend it. But again, use it for the right situations. Use it to get those little moments, those little quick vlogging moments that you can then incorporate into your main videos. Use it to just document stuff with your family. Maybe you're going on a family holiday. Take this with you. All you need to do is stick it in your pocket. You don't need to worry about carrying lenses and different camera bodies around with you and microphones, because that is absolutely perfect for it. I have actually started a vlog channel, a second YouTube channel, and 90% of the stuff on that channel is filmed entirely on this camera. If you want to go and check that out, the link is down in the description down below. But I think that is it for this video. If you like what you see on this channel, don't forget to click subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I shall see you all very soon in another video. Anyone else still getting through all their Christmas chocolate? We've got 4 chocolate oranges to get through. And that's still after all the other stuff that we've had to get through before now. Eating chocolate for the next year.